everyone. Welcome to today's after school club program. This is Design It for ages 11 through 15. We're going to run from 3:35 to 4:20 p.m. Now, if you're just joining us, I would like you to, if you're on Facebook and you're just joining us, I would like you to try to use the Zoom link because there you'll be to ask questions and I'll be able to answer them directly. And yeah, I could do, I could also slow down for you guys and interact together a little bit more rather than, kind of watching for Facebook and be like, okay, how do I do that again? Rather, you can ask me directly through Zoom. Now, for the past few weeks, we've been working on, if I can get out of full screen here, we've been working on our platformers. I'm going to show again our final little product here. Last week we just did the basic designing, the level, and then getting our character to move a little bit and testing it out. Now here it is. Got our character moving around, jumping. There's music in the background of this, but I don't have the volume sharing. So I'm able to jump around, collect some items. The upper number on the upper right over here is the collectibles. The upper left over here is our lives. So if they jump on spikes, I get hurt and it sets that lives down a little bit. I could have like a little flicker animation. I could add a little bit more to that. And yeah, it's just basically jumping around and trying to get in. When we get hit, when this lives runs out to 0, it resets the game. I'm just trying to get to the end here to show you guys the end. Jumping. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to Flow Lab here. And then I'm going to scroll all the way to my games. If you were just starting, like watching this for the first time today, I highly recommend you checking out the After School Club on the website. And there you'll see on dspace.org, there you'll see various like old videos on there. And we have some videos from the previous weeks on how to get to this point here. Okay. So today we're gonna continue on because last week I showed you how to expand the room a little bit more and then how to, I'm trying to remember here, it's been a week. It's literally been a week. I think, yeah, and expand the camera out so the camera follows your character. So here, you're just kind of floating there. I'm gonna edit game right in here. And because I forgot to make my character movable. Okay, play. This is where we're at, right here, where we move our character around, jump on things, and that was about it. We don't have any collectibles. I'm not walking through this grass, I'm kind of running into it, and these spikes start hurting me, and there's no music, and if I fall off, the game doesn't restart. So that's what we're working on today. So right in here, what we're gonna do is first, I'm gonna fix these little behaviors. So if you did this last week, I added a little bit more decorations here. All I did was went to create, edit sprite, browse, went to pixel characters and pixel objects. And here is where I got some grass, some spikes, and added them to the scene right in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this one here, but if I have a problem where, I'll show you, if I'm right in here and jumping around, like you notice, like I'm on top of the grass. I'm supposed to be going through the grass here, unless I wanted by design to have my character not be able to move through these. So I'm gonna go ahead and edit game again. I'm gonna click on this grass right here, click edit. And you notice right here in type, I said in previous weeks, it's really good to name these things. I'm just gonna name it grass there. I kind of just, wouldn't have made it. But if I go down to physics, Let me circle it for you guys right in here. Click physics. And then in physics, there's this little thing that says is solid. There it is solid. I click that right there and click OK. There. And now if I test it, my character walks through the grass right here. Walking through it, not having a problem, getting stuck on there. Now here's an issue. I have, let me find the, oops, cancel. If I hold my left click mouse and I drag over, I'm gonna find a grass that looks just like this. There it is. If I edit this and go to physics, it changed this over here to not solid 2. That's because they're connected to the same object and they're just copies of each other. So if they change one of these, it changes the other. Now this other grass right here, I click edit, go to physics, I still have is solid checked right in here. So I'm gonna uncheck that to fix that. If you didn't decorate your level from last week, you can definitely take this moment to decorate it now. I'm just kind of going through, making sure that these little decorations I have here aren't solid. Yeah, I think that's all of them. And you also notice, again, that I added spikes. So these spikes can give damage. So first thing first is that I'm going to show you guys how to create walking movement. So you can go ahead and, whoops, let me add my character back in there again. Add a level, there it is. Here's my character right here. I'm going to click on this character, then click edit right here. And then I'm going to choose behaviors right in here. So if I choose behaviors, I have all these options here. Now here's camera from last week where you can go in here and edit the size of your level. I'm just going to click OK here. And we also kind of added run and jump. If you still have run and jumping here, you can go ahead and click on it and then delete it to remove it from there. And then next we're going to do is now create some movement in here. So if you see all the way on the left side here, there's a thing called triggers. It's basically when we do something, it triggers another event to happen. So if we think about our game and how we design it, what are we using to move our character? Most likely our keyboard, or maybe a controller with the stick moving left or right moves your character around. So if I'm moving my character with my keyboard, probably want to represent it as keys that my player can recognize. And usually that's the arrow keys, or WASD on the keyboard. If you're wondering why WASD is because that's just the standard key set a lot of video games have these days to move a character around. But we're going to use arrow keys just to make it a little things easier. On my platforming demo that I showed you earlier, I did WASD just to make it easier for myself because I'm used to that. But we're going to know arrow keys. Now, think about, okay, so when you want to think about your logic, how you're adding this here. So when I press my key, specifically, it would be very specific, when I press the right arrow, I want my character to move to the right. If I press my left arrow, I want my character to move to the left. So if you can see here on the left side, there's keyboard right there. I'm going to click on keyboard and it adds a little keyboard thing. And when these little things with called behaviors, if you click on them, it actually gives you options. All of these do. If you click on them, it gives them options. So here, choosing keyboard. And let's start with the left arrow first. So every time you test something, you want to add something, you want to test it out. So I'm going to change just the key. And it'll tell us me press the key left. And you see on, let me clear this out, right in the key right here at the bottom, it says left for the left arrow. Okay, so I'm just gonna click OK here, kind of think, we're good here. And I'm gonna test this out in the behavior rather than the whole game. So if you wanna test the behavior how ready to go, you just click the arrow to the lower left without exiting out of this. So I'm just gonna click play, here's my character. And nothing's happening. So we can't just decide left key, and that's it. I gotta do a little bit more to it than this. And there we go. So, gotta do something. So to exit out of testing. So I can just click on this little stop or pause down here. I'm just going to click stop on the lower left here. And then I am going to clear it. There you go. And then let's see, clear. What can we do to change our direction? So we probably need to add a number of some sort, you know? Maybe I want to add a number like, maybe if I press this, I'll make my character go left a certain direction. So if you remember, again, from the first week, I talked about how going left is a negative number and going right is a positive number along the x-axis, up and down is y. So going negative and a y is going up, while going positive y is going down. So probably want to add a number here. Now, if I look on the left side here, I don't see anything with a number on it at all. So I'll probably have to think, which of these categories has a number? If you notice here, there's actually way more than what you see here. It's not just this on the upper left. There's some things more down over here. There's logic and math, components, properties, GUI stands for graphic user interface, game flow, mobile device, multiplayer, and behavior bundles. So I'm going to go up to logic and math. And then looking for something that gives me a number. Oh, there we go. All the way at the top under logic and math, there's number. So I'm gonna click on that. Here's a number. Now, if I wanna go left, what do I need here? A negative number. So if I click right in here, I can give it a label. I'm just gonna name it speed, because the number is how fast my character is gonna go from one direction to the other. So I'm just gonna go right in here, and I could go -20 or -3. I'm just gonna go -6 for, I think, -6 blocks per second. And other engines like -6 pixels, and other things it's like based on the speed, like acceleration you're going, or the rate of this, or the rate of frames. Sometimes it's measured by frames per second, where you're moving 6 frames per second to the left or the right. Here, I think it might be frames per second or blocks. I'm not sure completely. I could look it up and figure it out. So when you're assigning things in blocks and you're trying to figure out, okay, what does this thing do? There's actually a little thing that says, what's this in here? If I click on that, it opens a new tab here. There we go, numbers. And here it's giving a description of what the block does and what the different things do. So you can always go open things up to figure out, I don't know what this does yet, and go straight into it, learn a little bit what it does. So I'm sticking it to -6, and click OK. I'm gonna test it. Press my left key, nope, nothing's happening here. I'm gonna stop. So these are not connected at all. It's not like the camera where we set it, it just starts working right away. These need to be connected. So as I'm pressing the key down, and you see those like little things on the right side, it's like down, up with the little circles right here. Logic, as I press the key down, I want to be able to move to the left. So not up, when I'm not touching the key at all. So down means it's pressed, up means not touched. So it's up, like I'm not touching it. I don't want to go. I want to move when I press the key down. And over here, here's this thing where it says set, in, and plus. So this takes the data in and exit out here. So what do you think we're going to do here? A little extra tidbit here is that you can left click these circles and drag it out, and you get like this long line. I'm going to put this over in the gray area so you guys can see it better. There you go. So you can like drag these out and like connect these out, like this little noodle coming out, and connect it here. It's definitely not set, because setting means set the number. If I click on this and click what's this again, and right here, there it is, set. We'll set set the value of the number to the input value. Nothing is output. So that's not what we want here. In is input, will not change the value, but the number values would be set to the output. So maybe we want to use in. And definitely not plus. Plus adds to the current number. So we want it to be input. So if you have a number here and you're like, how do I get rid of this here? You can just like click on this. We'll drag it out again. There it is. I have to double click on it. You double click on that line in there and it like gets rid of it. So now I'm gonna grab down, drag it out to in. There we go. And I'm gonna test it again. Nothing's happening. But you do see something changed here. Look at this little line in the middle between the left key and the -6. So I press it and you can see that it activates. It tells, so when I'm testing things in here, it tells me which behaviors are activated when I do something. So if you're ever trying to like figure out why isn't this working yet, you can actually see which things set off in here and figure out like, oh, if this isn't flashing between these two things, then I did something wrong. So I'm pressing A key and it says 1 on there. I'm gonna stop it again. So we need one more thing in here. So we have a left key and -6 in here, maybe labeled speed, but that's not enough. We need to add another thing. Now in some game engines, that actually is all you need, where you just like -6 and it just goes. But here we need a little bit else. There's like some physics in here that we can use. So we're looking for a thing called impulse. And I can see right here on the left side, I don't have impulse. So I'll probably have to look through these to find it. I got once, always, maybe components. Looking for a thing called impulse. There it is, impulse. Now I can like left click it. There it is. And then I'm gonna left click on this, click on what's this. And impulse blocks adds a physical force to an object immediately. So there it is. So we need to add the -6 to be the force that it pushes our character. So impulse blocks adds a physical force to the object immediately, instantly increasing the object's velocity, speed, like a spring. The more mass an object has, the more force it'll be required to move it. Okay, so they've got that. They need to figure out where do we take, so out stands for output, as in we're taking the -6 out. So we need to figure out, do we put in the X, the Y, or forward? To go back into what's this, X adds a force equal to the input value of the X direction. Forward adds a force equal to the input of the current object's forward direction. So we can try things out. We can try X first. We'll just see how it goes and then test. And oh, look, it works. But it's kind of weird because if I press my key down, I'm just pressing it down. I'm not lifting it up right now. And my character moved left once. Let me press it again. You see how there's a 1 arrow showing up right here? That's just 1 press there. So there's something we need to fix there. How do we fix that? If I click on my key on this again, and it says there's a thing right below change key that says repeating. So if I press the key down right now, it only sets the action once. Have you ever heard of sticky keys on a PC before, where you hold like shift down for a long time? This little box says sticky keys. Do you want to activate this? That's for case like someone has like trouble like lifting fingers off of keyboard, so it prevents someone accidentally putting the same character over and over and over again in the window. That's what kind of that is there. But here, you need to add a function that as we press the key down, the thing continues sending data over and over and over again to make our character move. So I'm gonna click OK here and click out, sorry, I forgot to check off repeating. So I'm checking off repeating, test, and there we go. Oh, wow, that was super fast. And click OK again. And, oops, sorry, that's not the one I wanted. Less, and, oh, my character went super fast that way. I might want to adjust the speed here, or I'm gonna test out something here. I'm gonna switch to forward to see what happens there. Character goes super fast again, and you see the numbers setting off. There's 1 and there, -6 to forward, right over there, setting it out. Okay, I guess, you know, I could try that out. I'm gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna switch this to the Y, right there, add, and see what happens. Nothing happens at all. Oh, nope, nothing's going on. That's not, I wonder what's wrong. It's probably because, like, you think that's negative, it's probably, you know, you want, maybe it shouldn't have sent your character up. Well, that's because of impulse here, how it works. And there's gravity forcing your character down right now, so you can't launch your character in the air right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop again, bring this back up to the X for now. So we got all this here. Now we have to do the same thing again for the right. And you can't just like right click and duplicate, unfortunately. You just kind of have to go find the keys again. So I'm just gonna bring these things back. I wish there was like a recent use too. There's number and components, it's impulse. So you might have to click through to get these. And again, you want to set the key, change key, right, repeating. And I'm going to change this to +6. That's a speed. Okay. And then connect these. So down, in, to the X, test. Oh, my character's super fast here. My character's stuck now. But I press one key and then switch to the other. You notice how they fire off differently? Or when I press both, you see like all these highlights going through here. So my character's going super fast here. I might want to bring the speed down a lot. Or there's one thing I have to do here. And click OK. OK. Play. Open that in a new tab. Edit game. I'm gonna put this back to the bottom. Here we go. There's a reason why I'm doing this. I'm gonna go edit my finished platformer. Edit. As soon as it takes me there. Got my character, edit, behaviors. See, this is all the behaviors we're gonna have in the end here. But right here, there it is. There we go. So this we have set here. And you notice I have a different thing here called velocity instead of impulse. There's something weird there. Let's check out velocity. We could, again, like I said, change the speed. Like the kind of behavior, maybe I'll make this a -1. Okay, change this to a 1. Okay, and I test it. And let me move that away. My character is moving a lot slower here, but if you don't notice, you can kind of see there. Let me stop and test it again. My character is actually gaining speed as it goes. So pulse adds acceleration, velocity to your force. And I don't want that for my movement. Maybe I kind of do for a racing game, but this isn't a racing game, so I don't want that. I'm gonna look for velocity now. I think it's under properties. There it is. I'm gonna go velocity, click on it, click on what's this. So velocity blocks allow the current object's velocity, speed plus direction to be set directly. So this is given a direct speed instead of having a force. That's probably what we want more than our impulse that we did here. So I'm gonna go ahead, double click on these, and I'm gonna delete both of these. And I'm wondering why aren't you grabbing 2 of these here now? I'll show you soon. I'm gonna put out in the X, out in there. I can actually connect multiple things to the same thing. Now I'm gonna test here. Now my character's moving really slowly to the left here, really slowly to the right. That's not what I want. I can set these numbers to be more reasonable now. 6 for the right, -6 for the left. And I switched these two. If you guys didn't notice. There we go. And there we go. That's a much, much better movement here. And so I can't get across that gap there. What do we need next? We need a jump right in here. So I want to add a jump right in here. I kind of, do kind of the same logic again with this that I have right here. I can add a keyboard, a number, and velocity. So let's try that. I'm gonna go to triggers. So thinking triggers is something you're like doing something with input. I'm gonna do keyboard. I'm gonna do the up key, repeating. No, I don't want repeating. The reason why I'm saying this think about how your jumping works in the game with platformers. But, some games it's like the A button or the X button or like a space bar for jumping. I could switch to the space bar here if I wanted to, but I'm just gonna, since I'm using the arrow keys, I'm using up. If I was using WASD, I would use space instead of W, just depending how you wanted to design. Like, you as a game designer to design how you want your feel to be. And the reason I'm doing up key instead of space is because it's much easier for me just to press the up key in here, while WASD here is much more for 3D movement most of the time in games, not all the time, or a top-down game. When I press W, that's usually my character moving forward in space instead of jumping up. So that's like that set of keys right there is just what people are used to using in 3D space. So if they use W there for jumping, it will confuse people a little bit. Versus the arrow key, we don't usually use arrow keys very often in 3D like games. So the arrow key up is much easier for jumping. I could do space if I wanted to, but I'm just going to do the arrow key there. You don't have to follow the same decisions I'm making here as a designer, because you guys too are a designer with your different ideas of how you want your player to interact with your game. So yeah, it takes a little bit of testing to figure that out there. But yeah, for the thing here with repeating, then pressing key down, I don't want my character to like forever go up. I just want my character to come up and then back down. If I do repeating, it's just going to set over and over again from then going to fly in the air. So I'm going to keep repeating off here. Here we go. And then now I'm going to add a number. I could do the same number or not. I'm going to do, no, it's under logic math number. There it is. Take the number. I'm going to try -6. The reason why I'm doing -6, think it again. Up is a negative number. Down is a positive number. Click OK there. Oh, that's the label. Jump. -6. Okay. And then we could try velocity again. Let's try that. And test. Oh, my character is just coming down, but if I press it over and over again, my character kind of flies in the air, so that's the problem with repeating. We'll have to do something where it only works once, so my character doesn't fly in the air, but it's kind of hard. I'm gonna stop here, change this to -12. And again, you change the numbers how you want it, like how fast you want your character to move around and such. So it's, yeah, up to you there. I move these to the side here. It's a little easier to see. Play. Oh, it's right on the top of my character. Oh, there you go. Jumps easier now. But I'm going to do something else here instead of velocity. So I'm going to stop here, double click on this, cancel. And then as I come up in here, like I can show you again. Let me show you again with the velocity. Okay, I'm going to play. Now if I press the up arrow key, just once, it, feels kind of nice, kind of like hoppy, but it doesn't feel right to me. I want to change the feel of that. So I'm going to stop there, double click on this, and I'm going to go back to impulse now, like we did earlier. So I'm going to go to triggers, and where was it? Oh, it's under components, impulse. So under components, there's impulse on the left side. And click on that, add in here, and then I could do Y. Right in there. Oops. Get my screens mixed up over here. Okay, and then play, press up. Nothing's happening here. What could be wrong here? Well, you're sending -12 to Y. I'm going to click on impulse, click on what's this to see this again. So impulse blocks add physical force to an object immediately instead of increasing the object's velocity. Increasing this velocity like a spring. So that's why I'm choosing impulse here. So it feels like a spring jump. Of course, again, more mass it is, the harder it is for it to jump. Now, inputs here. X adds the force equal to the input value in the X direction. y adds force equal to the input in the y direction. So these actually work differently. With impulse, you don't want to do negative 12 in here because I'm adding negative 12 in the y direction versus velocity. That click what's this gets me the documentation. It says x sets the object's x velocity. So it's, you know, like I don't have to worry about directions in here at all when setting numbers. But with impulse in here, I do. So I'm going to switch 12 to a non-negative number here. And then move these out of the way so you can see my character. And then stop here real quick and test. Now if I jump, it's a little bit more springy. Again, if I press it over and over again, since my character flying in the air. There's a fix for that. That brings my character back down. Yeah, there we go. We got some jumping here. I'm checking Facebook if you guys have any question. I see there's views on Facebook. You can definitely join us on Zoom and ask questions there for what we have so far. Okay. So next thing we're going to do here now, you look at the right group. So we got jumping in here. We want to make our character jump once. So I am going to do new share here, get the whiteboard. Actually, no, I can just use the screen. So I'm going to draw some things out in here. So what do you think about this? If we jump, let's say if jump equal true, as in yes, we are jumping, then we should, then player should come down. So I'm just doing the logic here of how our behavior is going to work. I'm just kind of writing out for you guys to make sense. Then player should go down. Right now, if jump equals true and we keep pressing jump, our character can just keep going flying. But what we want is if jump is, we're in the air for true, we want a player to go down. So we need to do a thing where when we press the key, when we press the key, we're in the air. We shouldn't be able to press that key over and over again to send our character flying. We need to do a case where can't press jump again. So can't press jump again when it equals true. Here, we need to set it to like false. So when jump equals false, give me a little line here, that's when we can press the key again. So we need to set up our logic to be where when we're jumping, we can't press that key again until we touch the ground again, kind of outline the ground. So when our character's not touching the ground, we can't press the key over and over again and sign those flying. We can't press jump again until we touch the ground here. We're thinking, how do we set this logic up? So there's a thing here called switch. We don't have if statements in FlowLab. We have a thing called switch. So I'm going to go to triggers. I have to remember where it is. Or is it logic? Yeah, it's under logic. There's logic. I'm going to grab switch. Left click on it. There it is. Switch. And if you look at it, there is this little thing on there that says off, on, in. I'm going to click on it. Click on what's this. So switch blocks provides a mechanism to enable or disable a branch of object. So it's kind of like a true false statement here. So switch is kind of like true and false. So when it's enabled, it's true. When it's disabled, it's false. The reason I'm using true false statements here is because in programming, there's a thing called Booleans. You can set things to true and false. So switches can be turned on or off by setting a property or amenity or activating off and on inputs. Any value arriving the in input would be set to the out input when the switch is turned on. Otherwise, as in it's off, it's ignored. So if it's on, it will do the thing. If off, it won't do the thing. So off turns switch off, no output is sent. On says on, the switch turns on, no output. That's not true. output is set. I was looking at like, what? And anything to this input is sent to the output if the switch is on. Output's out sends anything in the output if the switch turns on. So we need to figure out how to incorporate the switch here to make it where when you press the thing on, it goes in here. And I'm thinking we could either put this in between the key and the number 12 or between 12 and impulse. I'm actually going to put this in impulse. If you're wondering how I, again, disabled that, I just double click on the line here to remove that. So I'm going to put out to Y right here. This is where I want this to set through. And then for on, I want to put this number here. Actually, I want to send data in first. So right now there's no data in at all. So I need to put a value in through that goes through it. So on and off is what turns this data that's going through in. So now I need to figure out when to turn this off. So when my key is up, I'm gonna bring this A down a little, come on. There we go, angle branch. So when my key's up is when I want my switch to be off here. And we gotta think about how do we turn this on here. So when my key is up, off, it means that I can't send data again to impulse. So set the jump once. But how do I turn my thing on here? Like, this is only gonna work once here. So I'm gonna press play, jump, nothing's happening at all. Let me, again, move this out of the way. There we go. Nothing is happening, it's not working. Stop here. So first we need to turn the switch on. So turn the switch on automatically of what state you want it to be on and off. There's this little circle in the upper left right here. If I click on it, there's like off, on. And I've turned it on. Right in here, that's how you tell it's on or off. Return highlights blue. So now it's on state on, and that's okay here. I jump, and I can't jump in again. It's because nothing is turning the switch back on here. So we need to do something here. So if you think back on our logic, what are we setting to turn the switch back on? I threw it over earlier. So if jump equals true, that means I can go in the air. And I touch the ground again, jump is still true. Or, and we can't jump again. Or we can set the ground to be what changes to on and off here. So with touching the ground here, we needed something that correlates to the ground here, and that is called a collision event. So when my character collides with the ground, it will set this off here. So I'm gonna look for a thing called collisions. It's in triggers, collision, add that there it is. And if I left click on this, I can set it to hit any type of thing at all, like the jumping off of anything. Or I can be very specific and choose any type and choose grass right here, or ground. I don't think of ground there. Yeah, grass right in here. So only specifically can jump off grass, but I'm just gonna do any type for right now and be able to jump off things. And here's another thing. Remember that problem we had when we were getting our characters stuck on the sides of blocks earlier? Well, this correlates to the sides right here. So I'm not going to be able to jump off the left side and the right side and the bottom of different objects, only from the top here. Click OK, grab hit, and I'm going to drag this on to on. There we go. And now test. So jump, there we go. You able to move left or right, jump. Oh, can't jump again. So there's something in here I need to fix. So I'm gonna stop it again, play again. So there's collision. There's the collision again, and you can see that the collision box lit up when I touched the thing again and it didn't work. What could be wrong here? I'm gonna go back to collision, check these off again. Test. And now it works. You're wondering why, like, how do we get to the part where we can't, you know, touch these sides and set things off here. What could we do with that? Well, I'm going to explain that. So in here, as I come back down, this collision right here actually refers to my character, not to the block. I'm going to play, jump, jump. Now I can jump again. But now I can't jump off when I touch the side of a block. My character's just kind of stuck there. So I can't, you know, like set my character off. I'm touching the block here, and I can't jump again. But like, this only really happens corners here. So that isn't really an issue if this was like a tall wall. Let me, yep. There we go. There we go. There's a tall wall setting right here. Can't jump anymore until I hit the ground. So that's good. But then pressing into the wall, like it's not happening too much in here, but it was happening in the corner right here where I'm stuck and I can't get my character through. So I'm actually just going to reset that to either side of the character. There we go. So there's our logic for movement and jumping. Oh, of course, you can always just go to behavior bundles and click run and jump so you don't have to set all this up again when you make, you know, next games. Just quickly do it. Of course, I'm all for that. I'm just kind of showing you guys how to use this setup here. So what we did today is we did jump. We make our character jump once. Next thing we need to do for next week as our final part is that we need to be able to take damage and have our character reset the level when they fall out of there or run out of lives. We need to add a number that adds lives in the corners, and then we need to add a collectible background music and some animation. It's a lot that's coming up next, but I'm hoping to do this faster after explaining to you guys how the behaviors work in here. So I'm gonna go flying through next week on how all those work. Otherwise, that is it for today. If you came in late, you can always watch the recording of this next week when it's available. Otherwise, yeah, just, you know, keep working on your game and have fun. Have a good week, everyone.